Hello, welcome to Perspectives 33B, different takes on the same matter. How does a recruiter actually select and greenlight a good candidate for a commercial or sales role? To answer this question through three fictional examples, we are here today talking with a commercial director from a global telecom giant. He's got the heavy-hitting credentials, an MBA in international trading, and specialized degrees in digital and tech. With over 15 years in the trenches, he's seen the business from every angle, having done stints in product, marketing, finance, and customer success. So let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually choose the right person to hit the numbers in sales? Well, first of all, happy to be here. Let's go for the first example of answer. We're gonna call it the corporate standard response. Well, as you previously described, having a background in multiple departments gave me a big picture view of the business, and honestly, that's exactly what a killer sales candidate needs today. Back in the day, a good salesperson was just someone who hit their targets. You were only good as your last month's numbers. But today, the commercial game has so many layers: business development, planning, pre-sale, post-sales, customer success, etc. Plus, you've got B2B, B2C, e-commerce, marketplaces, direct sales, indirect channels, and so on and so on. You don't have to be an expert in everything, but you have to understand how the whole machine works. Well, whether you're behind the scenes in commercial planning or in the front lines closing deals, you need to know how to navigate relationships with other departments. A sales isn't just a transaction anymore, it's a relationship. You've got the before, the during, and the after. A great candidate for sales or commercial has to thrive on adrenaline. You need massive self-confidence because, let's be real, a huge chunk of your paycheck and bonus depends entirely on your performance. You also need a genuine drive to serve the customer. That means being a top-tier communicator with the power of persuasion, someone who can convince clients, work colleagues, and business partners alike. You've got to be a student of the game, always learning about the customer journey and leveling up your skills. And look, you need to look the part for your specific market. In other words, you shouldn't look like a tech geek if you're selling surfboards, and you shouldn't look like a beach bum if you're selling IT. The best candidates for sales or commercial read the room and adapt their vibe to the environment. Finally, you have to be incredibly organized. Between follow-ups, meetings, and keeping track of client milestones, you can't afford to let these things slip through the cracks. You've got to love being around people and be a pro at keeping and maintaining those connections. In sales, there's no such thing as luck. It's just being prepared for when the opportunity hits. Okay, so now let's go to the second example of answer. We're gonna call it the sincere response. Look, let's be real, honest, and sincere. You've got to be a people person through and through. You don't just talk to people, you get them. You need that analytical brain and a restless drive, but you never lose sight of the ultimate goal, closing the deal. You aren't out there making enemies. Everyone likes you. You're the person whose absence is actually noticed at a party. People bummed out because you didn't show up. In commercial or sales, you're the shoulder to lean on and the trusted confidant, not the office gossip. But you're smart about it. You know how to draw out the right info from a client and use it to your advantage, whether that's upselling or locking them so they never look at a competitor. People need to walk away from a meeting actually enjoying the time they spent with you at sales and commercial. You want to create that vibe where they feel like you're the one who always saves the day. And for better or worse, you've got to be sharp. I'm not saying you need to be a supermodel or a pro athlete, but you've got to be put together and carry yourself well. After all, you're the face of the brand. Okay, so what could be a third example of answer? We're gonna call it the ideal world response. In an ideal world, the ideal sales or commercial candidate would be the ultimate people whisperer, someone who truly understands others and offers the best possible recommendations to meet their needs, even if that means telling them not to buy anything or even suggesting a competitor's product because it's a better fit. In this ideal scenario, you'd be the bridge between the client and the company, putting the customer's interest above your own commission. Of course, for this to work, customers will also have to be 100% honest and transparent about what they actually need, and companies will need to build pay structures that reward that kind of genuine service. It sounds like a stretch or utopic world, But the closer we get to that level of trust, the more everyone wins. Think about it. Okay, today we saw three types of different responses for the same question. Remember, there are no absolute truths, and people may have different points of view from yours. Always consider that they may exist alternative takes on the same matter. This will hopefully help you navigate more open-mindedly through life. Knowledge always makes us grow. We never should stop learning. Think about it.